Okay. This is gonna be a little bit of a rant because I've been sitting here and I've been thinking about art and what the point of writing even is, and reading and watching movies or playing games or listening to music or whatever, right? So buckle in. I'll try not to make it too long, and I'll try not to shout because it gets me really passionate, and I have a bone to pick with the current paradigm or the current way we criticize things. Okay, and right now I think we're stuck in this model, which is criticism is a quality assessment, right? Which I mean is content good or bad, right? And the reason I hate that is because it doesn't engage with the artifact of the art that you found, and it treats the artist like they have complete control over what they made, right? So I finished reading Snow Crash by Neil Stephenson, and it was a great cyberpunk parody novel from the early 90s. Really great if you haven't read it. It may not be for everyone, and that's okay. But there's a scene in there that I won't get into spoilers, but basically it presents two characters engaging in some physical intimacy, but it's kind of yucky, and it's not really it's not like played as like a romantic scene. There is some like carnal and erotic kind of like writing to it. But again, it's like kind of about an older character and like a character who's a minor, right? And it's not good, okay? I'm just gonna say it's not I don't like the scene. It's a yucky scene, whatever, right? But I went to Reddit because I was like, I wanted to know what other people were thinking. And largely, everybody was like, yeah, I don't like that scene, right? And there were a lot of people who were like, it should just be cut. And I just was like, dude, you thought like the book would be better if this scene wasn't in it, but like you decided to keep reading after 400 plus pages, knowing full well what like Stevenson's writing style was about and like the territory he went, right? He talked about like people literally burning alive and like having gunshots through their face and like all this like messed up stuff, right? And anyway, I won't spend too much time on Snow Crash because like I could rant for a while. But anyway, people determine art's value, and really it's content's value, because I think art does something different. Content is assessed by its quality, and that's it usually, right? Like, oh, I saw Mickey 17. I haven't seen it yet, so yeah, don't spoil it in the comments. But anyway, oh, I saw Mickey 17, and it was good. It wasn't as good as Parasite. Fine, fair assessment, okay? But like, what does the movie make you feel? What do you think of all the different characters and the parts about it? Like, what do you think about the art rather than if you liked it or not? That like, if you like art, then that's great. You can get into analysis. But if you don't like it, well, you just write it off. But if you don't like it, don't you want to know why? Don't you want to like ask some questions? Like, why move on? You don't determine what your preferences are by just ignoring shit you don't like, right? That's really, I think it's kind of like grade school levels of criticism. Like, we think that if the Rotten Tomatoes score is below a certain threshold, then the movie is objectively bad, right? And that it shouldn't be engaged with in earnest, because the people who made it obviously didn't know what they were doing, and therefore we can't trust them to make art, right? But art is something that actively pushes you into uncomfortable territory, right? And so I think we exist in a state where we're largely consuming content and we're assigning a binary value of if it's good or if it's bad, right? Or the worst thing, it's not binary, but like the middling stuff where it's like, oh, this is just like a mid thing, right? The kids say mid, and they're like, it's just whatever, it's fine, right? That is arguably the worst thing a piece of art can be, is it's like, it exists, right? It exists. I mean, we can get into the philosophical implications of that, but that's a whole nother topic. But I just think that when we really pigeonhole criticism into whether or not the quality of something is good or bad. We don't really engage with the themes of the text. We don't really engage with the creative wisdom that comes from the artist in making that text or artifact. And we largely kind of spit on the artist because we draw their value based off of our interpretation of the quality of something. But it's like if you watch a David Lynch film, for example, like you watch, gosh, I haven't watched any of his films except Twin Peaks. I'm such a phony, dude. But like Eraserhead, right? Eraserhead is about a bunch of different stuff. However, it's pretty hard to watch, from the little bit that I have seen, it's pretty hard to watch in a modern context because it doesn't serve its audience all the time. It doesn't serve its audience answers, right? And some people may look at that and say, oh, well, I didn't like it, so it's not good. It's like, no, it's not that it's not good. It's just that you aren't giving it the credence that it deserves, which is to say you're not treating it like it's art. You're treating it like content. And we've gotten to the point where we make so much content that's just filler nonsense, like Netflix shows, like The Electric State. I haven't seen it, but I know a lot of people have been panning it. The like new Russo brothers movie on Netflix. That's largely content, right? Avowed, the new Obsidian RPG. That's just content, right? People have compared it to a Netflix show that you could just put on when you're folding the laundry. This is like a dire state, right? Because now we have muddied the lines between art and content so that the only way to talk about art or content is if it's good or bad. So now we don't really even know the difference, right? And largely, art is things that maybe you think are bad because they have problematic things in them or are not how you would do it, or if you were the editor, you would change these things, whatever, right? It's when you bring your creative decision-making into something that determines the quality, that shows people that you don't really know how to critique things. Because criticism, get this, is analysis, and it's also constructive feedback. But because the product is finished, you can't constructively feedback anything, right? That's the beta testers or the beta readers or the whoever who's seeing the art before it's formalized. That's their job. And if they didn't have a problem with it, you don't get to have a problem with it because you weren't involved in the process. You don't get to say, oh, it would be better if it was this way. No, you don't. No, you don't, okay? Sorry, I'm getting a little heated, okay? But seriously, why do we think that this is an okay way of analyzing art, okay? It's one thing that really makes me feel more antagonistic with an audience because I'm putting something out there and I don't really care what people think if it's good or bad, right? I'm like, you're not paying attention to what I'm trying to say, right? The quality of the decision-making from an artist should be taken out of the situation. We should look at the decisions that are there that we can analyze and then engage with it, okay? If you can't engage with it, that's also fine, right? You don't have to engage with every piece of media that you consume, right? We also use the verb consume as if it's something that's just like something you do to like kill some time and then you go about your day and then you forget about it, you know? But it's like, and then occasionally you watch a movie, you know, like I talked about it on this channel. I talked about the Florida Project, okay? Florida Project is an art film, right? There's some problematic shit in that movie. Like there's a child molester who shows up and is like trying to prey on these little kids. But I know that there's some people out there who are like, I don't know if I would have had that in the movie. It's like kind of creepy and it's like, I think the movie would be better if you took that out. It's like, dude, you didn't make the movie, okay? You don't get to just say if the movie would be better with this not in it, you know? And I feel like people who will really hate what I'm saying right now, you don't make anything, okay? Make something and then you will know the value of some audience's opinion about whether or not they think it's good or bad, right? And this is the problem, right? We don't engage with media anymore. We don't engage with the creators because we are just determining if they're worth doing so. If something's good, then you can analyze it. But if something's bad, don't analyze it. It's not worth your time. This is crazy, dude. Like, why are we allowing people to just determine value through their subjective experiencing of a piece of art or media I don't know if what I'm saying is like coming across coherent or if I'm just ranting. But anyway, that's my little rant. I'm going to keep it short. I think that's all I have for right now. So, if you are like upset that Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic and all of these like aggregate score sites have been ruining discourse, or if you disagree, tell me why, right? Like if you don't think that quality assessment is a bad form of criticism, tell me why you think that, right? Why should we prioritize quality assessment over analysis with what the author has created, right? That's what I'm saying. Like analysis should be the first and foremost thing in criticism. And yeah, we can give constructive feedback, but know that like you don't get to determine that because the product is finished. So you have no hand in it. If it's an ongoing thing and you're giving constructive feedback to the artist because they've asked you to give them feedback, totally. But if you're just giving your opinion, like, I'm sorry, dude, but like that's largely not criticism. That's just ego stroking and like getting up on your high horse and being like, I could do it better. No, you couldn't. No, you could. If you could do it better, show us, right? That's what I want. Okay, anyway, that's all I got for now. Thanks for watching.